What is going on, everybody? In today's video, we are going to be talking about ways and strategies of making passive income within the real estate industry. Now, passive income obviously being income that you are generating without having to work on a per hour basis for it. So this is where your money is essentially working for you. Now, the first strategy, the first tip would be rental properties. And there's a couple things I want to say about rental properties. So the first one would be, with rental properties, I see people thinking too small. So they're thinking about, like, what if they owned, 5, 10, or even 15 different, let's say, single family houses or 15 condo units that they all rent out. And now that's great. That's awesome if you can do that. But after you've bought like your first, let's say, 2 or 3 rental properties, there's no reason why you shouldn't have the experience, knowledge, and know-how to really start looking at, like, let's say, 5-unit apartment buildings or even 10-unit apartment buildings. I mean, I think we've all played Monopoly. You start with the little greenhouse and then you trade up for the red hotel, essentially. But with rental properties, you should think bigger than that. I mean, you should think bigger than just like owning 10 properties all over town. I know a lot of investors that started with just like a townhouse or a condo, moved up to the 5-unit, moved up to the 10-unit, moved up to the 20-unit, and now they only look at 100-unit buildings. And the thing about when you own like a multifamily building versus a, just a one or two residential units is that the economies of scale are going to be so much better. So, like, let's say you're going to raise the rent by $25 on a 100-unit building. That is going to drastically increase the amount of rental income that you'll get each year. It's going to drastically increase the overall value of the building if another multifamily investor wanted to purchase it. And keep in mind, too, with like 20-unit, 50-unit, 100-unit buildings, there's typically going to be less competition for those than there would for single-family houses. So that's another great thing. And the property management is oftentimes going to be easier when, let's say you just have a 120-unit building. Instead of having 20 properties all across town, you might have one property manager. Maybe they live at the 20-unit building, or maybe it's outsourced to a different property management company. But when you have everything under one roof, just one location, it can be a lot easier and much less of a headache and much more of the passive income that we're talking about when you think bigger and you go for the multifamily buildings. So the second way of making passive income within the real estate investment industry would be private lending. So oftentimes, with rehabs, where you see people doing fix and flip deals, if they're doing this on a professional basis, like if they're full-time doing house flipping, in almost every scenario, they are getting some type of loan. They're very rarely are going to be using their own money. So they might be using what's called hard money, where they basically pay a commercial lender 15% typically in 5 points to fund their fix and flip deal. So a lot of real estate investors still use hard money because it's so fast and flexible. But a lot of real estate investors also use private money, private lending. And that's where they might know individuals that might have some money sitting around in their 401k, IRA, whatever it may be, that maybe isn't getting the return that they're looking for. And now with private lending, typically it's not going to be a 15% and 5 points type of transaction, but everything is negotiable. Usually the private money rates that I'm seeing are really about 10%, 12%, maybe a point or two. But if you're more of an experienced investor, you have some money sitting around, private lending can be a great way of earning a double-digit rate of return where you're essentially the bank. And if you find an experienced investor, this can be a win-win situation. Okay, so the third way to make passive income within the real estate industry would be information products. So these could be books, they could be online courses, basically pieces of information that other real estate professionals might find helpful, people looking to get started in the real estate industry might find helpful. And many people think that it's like so challenging and so difficult to write a book or to create a course. However, there's been a huge self-publishing boom. So if you wanted to create a book, you don't need to get like a publisher to sign you to a deal and then 2 years later you produce it. You can literally write a 10,000-word guide on maybe how to get started as a real estate investor, how to get started as a real estate agent. Maybe you're the neighborhood specialist. There's a million different topics that you could literally, write as little, as 10,000 words. That could be a helpful guide to somebody getting started. And I know this from firsthand experience. So I've actually published 3 different books on different niches within the real estate investment industry. All of them are related to basically how to find great off-market properties. That's something that I specialize in. I have the knowledge, I have the experience. And so I said, hey, why not write a course, or why not write a book that will be helpful to others in finding off-market deals. Now the books are actually available in the links in this video at the bottom. So if you want to go check those out, definitely do. But there's tons of freely available articles online on how to really publish your own book, or how to publish an online course, which you can sell for more obviously than just a $10, $20 book. So there you have it, the 3 ways of making passive income in the real estate industry. The first one would obviously be rental properties, and the major takeaway from this is that you want to think bigger than just owning a couple rental properties. Think about if you own like 10 unit buildings, 20 unit buildings, 100 unit buildings. The second thing would be private lending. If you have some cash lying around in the bank, maybe have it in some IRA, maybe you're just have it sitting around, private lending can be a great way to get a double-digit return on your investment. All you have to do is talk to experienced investors. They're always looking for private lenders, I can guarantee you. And the third way would be information products. So if you've been in the real estate industry full-time for a year or two, at the minimum, you probably have some type of information, some type of knowledge that is going to be valuable to somebody else. And it's very easy to actually publish that information and get paid for it, 24/7. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give me a like, please subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. All right, bye.